So I'm back with another Freebie Friday, and in this one, we're actually going to talk about how to make one of those persistent footer CTAs that you see on all of the hottest sales pages these days. And what I'm talking about is as you scroll down a page that looks like this, for example, a pretty standard free book or free plus shipping offer, sometimes you're on a page, you're going down, you're reading the copy, and all of a sudden you get to a certain point and you see that there in the footer there is a block that is kind of counting down, and it has a product mock-up and a big button that says add to cart. And when you click on that button, what does it do? It scrolls you right back up to the checkout page. So we're going to be talking about how we can do that with our 100% free short codes. And it's probably simpler than you think. So let's take a look at the custom code here. So the setup is basically we're using a short code called floating block. And what floating block does is that no matter where you put this block on the page, it's going to take it out of context and basically put it into an absolute position, if you will, if you know anything about CSS. What we need to do is we need to figure out where we're going to put it on the page. I like to put mine close to the footer. I could have put it all the way at the bottom, but I decided to put it just above the normal footer here. And what that affects is what the Z index is. Now in CSS, everything on your page is ordered by a hierarchy that says the higher the number of the Z index, the more towards the front it's going to show up on the screen. All right. And what we need to do is we need to understand where on this page do we want this block to appear, right? So when I go into my custom code, we're down here at the bottom, and we're only looking at these two lines right here. So first thing we need to do is we need to enable the floating block. So we'll go ahead and put that there just so that's the focus on line 43. And it's very simple. It's floating block, and then it is the block ID. And we tell it how far from, in this case, the bottom. If we wanted to, we could choose the top, the right, the left. We have a lot of different ways we can use this short code. But today we're talking about a sticky footer, so we want it to be stuck to or pinned to the bottom, right? So bottom equals 0. So there's 0 offset. And then the next thing we need to do is we need to make sure that we tell the system that we do want it to stay 100% width, right? So it's all the way across the screen. And then we have to look at this Z index number. Now, where did I get the number 5? So if I go here and I right click and I do inspect and I bring this over here, now this is going to look like gobbledygook to some people, and other people are going to understand exactly what it is we're looking at here. Let me make this a little bit easier to see. All I've done is I've inspected this element here, and I'm going to go find the block. So I know that this is this block here, and I see that the Z index is 7. Okay, so if this Z index is 7, and the hierarchy is from highest to lowest, right? So that things on the top tend to stay on top. So if you made this header sticky, it would show up in front of all of the other elements. So this block here is 7, which means that this block here is 6, right? Which means that I need to make this 5 so that way it appears in front of everything else on the page. Now, if I wanted this block to appear lower on the page, then I would simply change the Z index to 4 or 3 or 2. And what it would do is it would then wait until it got to a block that had a lower Z index before it showing up. But you can see that this kind of works pretty well because it gives me enough scroll distance to get past the checkout form to get into some of the copy. Imagine that this is copy, this whole block, and then to show the persistent, the sticky CTA. If I wanted it to be a little bit lower down, again, all it is, it's as simple as changing the number in that Z index. And in fact, let's test that out. Come here, I'm going to go to the sticky block here, and I'm going to change this to 4, right? So you can see that 4 makes it appear after that block, right? The reason that you're seeing, in this particular case, you're seeing it appear through it is because this block doesn't have a background. So that's the other thing to keep in mind here, that any block where you want this to be completely invisible, you're gonna have to make sure that it has a background. In fact, I can show you that here. And I just, if we want it to be in that position and show after this About Me section, make sure that this background isn't transparent. Make sure it's white. All good. All right, so we'll go ahead and click on Publish. Once it's done publishing, we'll go back to the page and refresh. And you can see that now, instead of appearing when we get past the portfolio section here, it's waiting until after the About Me to go ahead and appear. So I hope that makes sense. As always, if you have any questions or any other use cases that you'd like to see this used in or need some help with, please drop them in the comments below, or reach out to us directly through the actual website, where you can click on Consult an Expert or go to Schedule a Call, and let us know what it is that you're interested in building, and we'll do our best to make that happen for you.